Overnight in France, the leftists beat the far right in the country's snap parliamentary election. Joining us right now with more on global elections, including those in the UK and Iran, is the Council on Foreign Relations President Emeritus, Richard Haass. He's a senior counselor at Centerview Partners. And Richard, let's talk this through. In some ways, it looks like Macron's bet played off to go ahead and say we're not going to have the far right won, but they took a huge number of seats, and Marine Le Pen has said they're going to be back and have far more next time around.
I mean, the good news is the far right lost. The bad news is the far left won. And for Macron, either way, it's not good. It's a real anti-incumbent vote. It's not he can't be happy with the outcome, and now he's going to have to try to rule France without a government.
And the far left has said, by the way, we're not really necessarily interested in going along with the centrist on any.
Right. Now, the far left is an amalgam of like 4 or 5 parties. So I think what Macron's going to try to do is split them apart and get rid of the farthest of the far left. Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who's, among other things, not just crazy left, but was also just many would say, just a raging anti-Semite, truly anti-Zionist. So the question is, can Macron do it? He's got to somehow figure out how to get through this for a year, because you can't have new parliamentary elections for a year. So my guess is he's got a year to try to make something work. I'm not sure he can. And then if he can't, you'll have new parliamentary elections a year. If that still doesn't produce a government, then I think pressure is going to grow against Macron for new presidential elections.
You immediately said anti-incumbent, and that's what I've been seeing too, the UK and France. So I've also seen people say, wow, the left won again, and they're comparing it to the 2022, that it was not a red wave, it wasn't even a red trickle. So they're already comparing it that the left, they thought the right was going to win, and that the idea that the right is ahead here in this country. Now they're grasping at this, saying that the left came around. But on the other hand, it's anti-incumbency, which would be against.
Yeah, I think that's the much bigger theme. Also, think about the Indian elections. Prime Minister Modi didn't do nearly as well. Yeah. Think about South Africa. For the first time in post-apartheid history, the ANC didn't get a majority. So clearly, that's what's out there. And then again, if you're Joe Biden, if you're the Democrats, you've got to be worried. Because it's both left and right. It's just basically for change. It's against the status quo.
Yeah, and that's some anti-incumbency in his own party. That might be the real problem.
There is that as well.
Yeah.
The markets are a little relieved by this result because they didn't want the far left or the far right to really take over. Both of them plan to spend a lot more than Macron.
Yeah, their agendas, both sides, were pretty radical. Markets, yeah, I was surprised a little bit that the markets in France were as positive as they were. I think it's more what they avoided more than what they have. And then the question is, can you govern? Can you really get an agenda going? And I think that's a real issue. In Britain, you've also got issues with that. I mean, the main thing is there's not a lot of money to be spent. Taxes are already high. Also in Britain, you had the interesting thing where you had an anti-incumbent Labour Party run and win without much of an agenda. In a funny sort of way, they had to be so reassuring that they couldn't have an agenda, so that as a result, they don't have much in the way of a mandate. So again, it's a little bit hard to know what they're actually going to be able to do.
When it comes to Iran, the turnout there was very high, too. The other thing that all of these elections have seen incredibly high turnout.
Yeah, and then Iran was, that's interesting. The candidate who won was not the one who was favored by the regime. The real question there is, what power does he have? You've got, the supreme leader. You've got the IRGC, who are essentially running a lot of the foreign policy. So he might have some control.
The Revolutionary Guard.
Yeah, he might have control over domestic issues. For example, he's already signaled a little bit more freedom for women, that sort of thing. He obviously would love to get out from under some of the economic sanctions. But in order to do that, you're going to have to influence Iranian foreign policy and Iranian nuclear policy. And that's what nobody knows. Will he really be able to do that? Also, very early on in his watch, you could quite possibly have the death of the supreme leader. And that would be ultimately a much more significant transition in Iran. So a lot going on there.
Ultimately, though, you think when you start looking at these elections around the globe that, for the most part, they're not going to be able to do as much. We're leading to more gridlock everywhere?
Exactly. That you don't have a consensus on what needs to. Again, you have much more consensus against what there is. Not much on where to go. That said, there are some trends in the West, Becky. Clearly, if you look at what the Brits are doing, they're looking at emulating the Biden administration, things like the CHIPS Act, the IRA. I think we've seen a change in the economic model in a lot of the West towards larger government roles, more protectionist. I think
more
that'll continue.
protectionism, the potential for tariffs, no matter who comes up on it.
Absolutely. So I think the old paradigm has shifted, and we're just seeing a more intrusive government in many aspects of economic policy.
Most of the time, the markets like gridlock, at least here in the United States. Is there a point where if it's too gridlocked and nothing gets done for decades, it starts to create a problem?
Well, look
Think
at
of
this
things
country.
like immigration or
Yeah, you can't meet your basic challenges, or if you can't in this
getting a budget together.
Hundreds. That was going to be my example. I mean, there's a thin line between gridlock, between avoiding bad things and dysfunctionality. It's almost the negative side of gridlock that you can't address either immediate or long-term challenges. So I think markets initially like it, over time grow a little bit disaffected.
Richard, thank you.
It's like the first clue, isn't it? If you got something called a supreme leader, you got probably a troublesome country, I think, for us.
Actually, the bigger signal is anytime a country has the word democratic in its title, you know it's not. Look for that.
What are the two? North Korea and Iran.
Or the People's Party? That's not it.
I mean, great gig if you can get it, to actually be.
As the old president for life.